Hello, everybody, and I am back for the 17th Biweekly Reader, I think. So, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Oh man, I actually have so many things to talk about today. I think the first thing I'll talk about, and I'll say Song of the Mysteries for last. Trust me, this is, So, first thing that I've been reading is Hidden City. I'm about 100, or almost 200 pages in, and oh my god, this book is amazing. It's so good. Just, oh, I'm in love with all these characters, with everything that I am reading about in this story. I can't talk about it too much because it's very hard to talk about. The start, I'd say, is probably slow, but I love it. I love it for it being slow. I think most people would read the first 100, 200 pages and go, oh my god, nothing's happening. Or they're probably going to go, it's a very slow start. But to me, taking the time to see how these characters start to love one another, start to connect with one another, and why their relationships develop to the point that they're developing towards is something that's incredibly important. And I love it when a story will take the time to really do that. And honestly, let me tell you this. I love this book so much. Oh my god, you're probably going to call me insane, which is fair, by the way. That I already went and bought the first 5 books in this series. So, this is the duology, which I think you can read on its own, called The Sacred Hunt, which is supposed to be read 4th and 5th in the sequence. Hidden City is first. And then after Hidden City is City of Night, which, just, let's take a side note. Beyond how nice the Hidden City looks, like, I think it looks pretty nice. This, if you ask me, this is a gorgeous cover. I mean, look at that. It's just stunning. And also the blue. Admittedly, I think it's the blue that gets me. I'm in love with that cover. Man, like, I can't stop looking at it. And I also love this one. I don't know why. It's the blue and that looming figure in the background. Can you see that? It's just, I love the looming figure and his eyes, his glowing blue eyes. I don't know if you can see that in the thing, but I think this is going to be a fantastic. I'm going to read these two back to back whenever I get to it. But, oh, man. Like, it's, truly, I am loving the Hidden City so much. There's some interesting backstory to the main character, Wrath. Or, well, I wouldn't even say he's the main character. He's one of the 2 main characters. But, and also, I love a good parent-child relationship. And what's interesting is we are getting a lot of perspective from Wrath, he's an older man. He's, I'd probably say in his 40s. We start the book off with a character who's probably in his 30s, 40s. Which is not something you see very often in fantasy. From what I've seen, this is a very rare occurrence. And I loved getting the experience to be inside his head. And I just love it. He seems like a person who's been through stuff. He feels like an older man. He doesn't feel like a kid. And I also think that our main child character, Jewel, is so well done. Oh my god, she is a 10, 11-year-old who wants to do better, who wants to do the right thing despite being an orphan. And what I love so much about her is she is truly a child, and she's an intelligent child. But despite being an intelligent child, we see the cracks. She's a child, so she's not as worldly aware as her guardian, Wrath. And what I love so very much about Wrath and his relationship with her, or sorry, about Jewel, is she is this loving and caring little girl who is admittedly naive, but it's her mentality of, I want to be able to help people, so I want to be grown up. I want to be a grown up. And and there's that, you can see it in the faces and the mention or in the dialogue from the older characters. They smile at her and they go, "That's not what you want. That's really not what you want, kid. You're gonna get it one day, but it's not gonna be what you want out of it." And I love it so much. This, and listen to me, I love Realm of the Elderlings. This may be my favorite coming of age that I have read in a... No, sorry. I said that. My favorite coming of age, period. Because it's a mix. We're not just getting coming of age. We're also getting this older man who's trying to be a father. But also he has conflicting motivations with this. I am in love with everything about this story, and I'm in awe of Michelle West's ability to write these characters in their character voices. Oh, the character voices. This is some of my favorite character voice, period, full stop. Like, we are talking character voice on the level of Robin Hobb and Joe Abercrombie. Yes, though that to me, those are the pinnacle of character voice. Now, would I need to read more of... Sorry. I said character voice. Character voice is not the right word there. I think the better word is character thoughts. So, when we read a book, and let me distinguish the two real quickly. When we read a book, there's character voice and there's character thought. When you're writing in something like third-person perspective, we get aspects of the character's thoughts via the third-person perspective. That omniscient narrator, or maybe limited narrator, I can't be bothered to discern the two right now. I think we get aspects of the thoughts. We get aspects of what they're thinking, how they're thinking, what has influenced them to think the way that they are thinking. And I think that character voice differentiates from this in the way that character voice is the way in which that third-person narrator or first-person narrator actually speaks to us, the audience, in a way that reflects the character we are viewing. Like Sandan Glokta. When we get that, we're not... Who else is going to talk about hating stairs? Who else is going to talk about how much they fucking hate the damn stairs? No one. And it's those... And while I would say Michelle West has certain attention to details, Joe Abercrombie's one of a kind, so it's not... no one's a fair comparison there. But I think the difference in character voice is that character voice is the third person matches the character's internal monologue. I wouldn't say Michelle West does that very much, but she has a beautiful prose that is very elegant and very easy to comprehend. It's very flowing in the mind, and it's very, very nice. Especially considering I'm reading it right next to Song of the Mysteries, which is like, brain overload. But that's pretty much all I have to say for Hidden City. I'm in love with it. I'm absolutely blown away by Michelle West's capability, and I cannot wait to continue Hidden City. I don't know if I'll go like full all in on Hidden City for a little while. Maybe like it'll be my end of the year treat, but we'll see how it goes. So, outside of Hidden City, there is one other thing that I read that isn't here. It is Gachi Akuta. So I don't know if you know about this series. It is a manga series. I don't have it physically, because so I started reading this manga series, I think 2 or 3 years ago, right when it started releasing. So if you know about Soul Eater or Fire Force, this is the mangaka here is the disciple or the apprentice or whatever of that mangaka, and I thought that was very interesting, and I loved the premise of Gachi Akuta. So let me go ahead and tell you about it, and that is there is this city in the sky, and this boy named Rudo, who is the son of a criminal, a murderer, and he's ridiculed, whatever, and eventually he gets kicked off. But that's not the interesting bit. It's that at the bottom of the world is a giant pile of trash. But what makes Rudo so special is that he has the ability, and we always say he has, characters typically have like fascinating abilities that are like, we can do magical thing. No, it stems from a mentality here. Sure, Rudo has a power, but not only a physical power, but a mental power, to where anything that he sees that is discarded or thrown away, he has the ability to see value in it. He loves it, and he cares about everything. And I think that is something so fascinating about this character that is truly interesting. And how he can literally grab any piece of trash on the road and he can find a value in it. I love that aspect so much. And what's so cool about the magic system here, or the power system, whatever you want to call it, is that it's like this. Oh, I love it. It's items. So let's say when I was very young, I was given a little teddy bear. And let's say I love that teddy bear with all my life, and all throughout my life, I can never let go of it. It's so integral to who I am, and it represents challenges I have overcome. It's a fucking teddy bear. But the teddy bear gives me powers because, who knows? It gives me powers because I'm so attached to it. I love it so much that my teddy bear gives me super strength. Isn't that fucking cool? Now, of course, the abilities in there are actually cooler than that. Then I get super strength. Yeah, sure, but it's very fascinating, very interesting, and it is a very brutal. Not only is it a very brutal series at times, I wouldn't say it's dark per se at all times, but it's not like grimdark, but it can be dark and heavy. Content warnings, like I'm giving you that content warnings, but the writing on display that subverts so many typical shonen tropes is just immaculate. If you don't watch enough shonen, I don't know if it'd hit as much for you, but there are so many small subversions of those standard tropes, and I love it so much. I could talk about so many of them, but they'd be spoilers, and I'm just in awe of this writer's ability as well. I've been eating very well when it comes to reading, but man, Gachi Akuta, I caught up to it recently is what I'm saying, but I'm in awe. I love it so much. So what happened actually originally was I caught up with it for the first 30 chapters. I was reading it week to week. I have a very hard time keeping up with things week to week. It's just a really big struggle of mine. And I just kind of let it fall to the wayside when the website that I was using to read the translations just vanished. And so I said, okay, I can't read it anywhere, so I'm just not going to read it, I guess. It's disappointing. It's sad because I love Gachi Akuta. I loved it back then too. And now, about 2 years later, I've caught up, and it got so much better. The mysteries, the intrigue, the machinations from all over are so good. And the character work is so well done. Oh. Now, I have a hard time finding themes in manga, but oh, I actually need to start collecting it, now that I think about it. I love Gachi Akuta so much. It was a fantastic series. Okay, that's done with my first two things, Gachi Akuta and Hidden City. Now let's talk about the big boy. Let's talk about the big girl. That is Song of the Mysteries. Oh my god, I don't have enough praise for this book. So, I know I've been reading this pretty much the entirety of the past 2 weeks. Wait, did I say that I had finished Kheld King in the last... Hold on. You know what? This is actually important. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So, I just realized I didn't talk about finishing Kheld King. Yeah. Sorry. I love Song of the Mysteries, but I need to save it for last. Best for last, you know. I gotta talk about Kheld King. Well, Kheld King has stolen the spotlight. Kheld King was such an amazing book. Oh my god. The ending. I'm not gonna tell you anything about the ending. Don't worry. Don't you worry. But oh my god. Ah! Oh man. The ending sequence was so good. Like, I remember reading it, like, on the edge of my seat, and I'm like, I knew it was gonna happen. Because I told you, I got spoiled first thing, reading the back of this thing. But then, oh my god, the ending! I bow down to thee, L.L. Stevens! I bow down to ye! Oh my god, what an amazing ending. Well, what an amazing ending! Throughout all the book, like, she'd been building up to this, and building up to this. And then it hurt! Oh, it was so well done. It was so well done. L.L. Stevens, has such an immaculate way of bringing everything, like, character work, plot points, everything, just to a head in her climax of the book. And I was in such awe. Like, the characters felt like they were logically going in this direction. The plot felt like it was logically going in this direction. It just all made perfect sense. And yet it was so hard. It's so hard to talk about, but it's like you feel conflicted about the ending. And then the very final sequence is just such an amazing sequence as well. I was just, oh man, what an amazing book, what an amazing book, what an amazing book. I've already spoken enough about Kheld King in my last thing, so I won't talk about it too much, I know. Because, of course, anything more would be a spoiler, and I'm not in the business of spoiling things. So, that's all I've got for Kheld King. I'm not going to talk about Kheld King anymore. Whoop! So, let's talk about Song of the Mysteries. Okay, I know. I was a little bit of a detour, but it had to be done. So, oh man, Song of the Mysteries. I've been spending the past 2 weeks reading this. I'll finish it probably by Saturday or Sunday this week. I have 4 chapters left, which is about 140 pages left, something like that. And I'm really taking my time with this book for 2 reasons. Number 1, I can't. You think I can run through this book? Like, that's not a statement of it's emotionally taxing or anything like that. It's mental, like, it's mentally taxing. Like, it takes so much work out of me to read a chapter a day that sometimes I can't even get a chapter a day in because I had such a busy day. And it's like, oh my god, it's like the most beautiful and annoying thing about Wars of Light and Shadow. I have been taking this slow, a chapter a day, which by the way is like 40 pages a day. That 40 to 50 pages a day, it's very long. So, but I just feel like this is such an amazing story. I know I was like griping on the certain aspects of it, but like I can't do more than a chapter a day. I've tried. Even on days where I had the day off, doing more than a chapter that day was still difficult. Like doing 2 chapters is such a tough thing for me to do. That's just how taxing this work is on my brain. Honestly, it is probably the most rewarding experience, though. It's incredibly difficult for me to read, and I know some people can read 100 pages a day of this, but I cannot. I don't know how Jake does it. He said that he could read 100 pages a day. I don't know how do you do that? Or maybe, I don't know if he said he could read 100 pages a day, but he said it flowed easily. But I can't. I just can't do it. It's so tough for me. It's such a difficult prose, but it's also a really good challenge. Now, let's brush that aside and talk about the actual story. Oh my god. This story, in so many ways, coming to this climax here in this book, is impeccable. I have no words. Like, I think it did take a little bit to get... Okay. I say it took a little bit. But, like, I mean, I think it took about a chapter or 2 to, like, say, okay, we're starting things. We're gonna go... It felt like, oh, we're gonna go a little slow. And then Jenny Wirtz said, ha! You fell for it! Like, she just took off the gloves first thing and went, let's go. It was, like, you could tell when she took off the gloves. When she was like, all right, let's get this party started. And just went crazy. Like, this entire, like, it's 800 pages. Every page is substantial. What's insane about this book is, like, you hear 800 pages and you think, oh, that's pretty long. No, it's like 1,600 pages. That's why it's taking me so long. Like, there's so much in every page. It's so dense. And you can't not sit there and just take your time with it. Otherwise, you're just giving Jenny Wirtz the middle finger, and you do not do that, you psychopath. It's such a brilliant book. I truly, the way everything is coming to a climax. And I think I literally just hit the turning point for the ending sequence. I have 4 chapters left. And with the chapter that I just read, it's like, all right now, let's get this finale started. And I'm in awe. Like, I know I've said this about 3 times today. But when I say, this is probably the best book that I have ever read. And I love Assassin's Fate. I love it to bits. And I think in certain ways, I did feel more emotionally drawn to what Assassin's Fate did. I think that just because of the way like, everything in Wars of Light and Shadow is so brilliantly done. The characters, the plot, all of it is and the themes. Oh my god, the theme work on display in this book is something so impeccable. Empathy, compassion, the importance of your choice, the importance of understanding and learning that we are not in control of what other people do. We are our own masters is such a powerful tale. And it's a cautionary one as well. Lysayer, I'm gonna make a deep dive video on this character one day. Like, if not soon. She is such a cautionary tale. I'm not gonna tell too much about it. I don't want to spoil anything. But he is such a brilliantly written character. Because we all know a Lysayer. And I will bet your ass. I'll bet money. I'll bet all the money I've ever seen in my life that you probably don't like the Lysayer you've met. But it's so well done that you cannot hate Lysayer. Lysayer is not someone you hate. Lysayer is so well done that you feel so many things towards him. And maybe hatred, like a little bit of hatred is there. But man, oh man, is he one of the best characters I've ever seen. I love that he is this truly cautionary tale of certain aspects of humanity. And again, I can't talk too much about him because it would be spoilers. But he and Arathon are such perfect foils to each other that it's impeccable. Truly and honestly, impeccable. What Janny Wirtz has been able to do in this series. The scale, the scope, the insane moments, the insane climaxes. I've had a climax, literally this book has had multiple points where I'm just like, either I'm stunned speechless, or I'm getting up out of my seat and going, oh my god, this is so good! Like, I'm like, ah! Like, I'm geeking out like a little girl and freaking out. And, oh, Janny Wirtz is a queen among all authors. When there are authors that just do great things in one area, like I would say Robin Hobb is a brilliant character writer, world builder. I may love certain aspects of her world, but not so much. Janny Wirtz does everything in her power to relay to you her themes. And it doesn't feel force-fed to you, by the way. It's incredibly well done to where you are asking the questions. And yet here, I would say that Janny Wirtz layers and layers and layers the power of choice, the power of your free will into her story, into her tale, into not only the narrative, but into the world, into every little nook and cranny. You can find aspects of her themes. And she knows that. She very clearly, deliberately crafted this world with that deliberate intent. Every aspect of Athera and the entire tale, its history, its world, its politics, has been crafted to talk about the human condition and your role to play in it. How you affect it and how you affect yourself. It is such a brilliant, I would say, with our modern era especially, with how polarizing things like politics can be, I feel like this is a story that asks you to be empathetic, to be understanding and loving, and choose for yourself. It asks critical thinking of you. No. I say it asks. It requires critical thinking of you. You cannot read this series and not interact with the themes. You cannot read this series and choose not to critically think. Because if you do, you are not reading Words of Light and Shadow, you are reading something else. And you should drop it. or you have already dropped it. In fact, I would bet you money that anybody who does not want to interact with the themes of Wars of Light and Shadow has dropped it almost immediately. Because that, if you don't want to interact with the theme work of Wars of Light and Shadow, you will not be reading Wars of Light and Shadow. In order to interact with Wars of Light and Shadow, you must interact with Wars of Light and Shadow. When you read a book and you're sitting there just to enjoy it, that's one thing. You don't do that with Wars of Light and Shadow. You sit there to to reflect. When you read Wars of Light and Shadow, it is a deeply personal, deeply intimate, and deeply reflective experience. It is a deeply, what's the word? Transcendental experience. When you read this series, it goes beyond it asks you to push yourself, to push your reading capabilities. It asks you to push your literary analysis capabilities. It asks you to do so many different things. And I am in awe of every layer that Jenny Wirtz has placed into this series. This is a series that I can no longer tell you that Realm of the Elderlings is my favorite series anymore. I cannot tell you with confidence every time my favorite series of all time is Realm of the Elderlings. Yeah, you heard me right. This is on par with Realm of the Elderlings for me. I cannot tell you that I have a favorite series. I cannot start ranking them anymore. I have lost the ability, and I'm so happy about it. I could not be more thrilled. When I finished Realm of the Elderlings last year, I didn't think I was going to be able to ever say anything was on that quality. Here's something on that quality. I'm not going to say that anybody who likes Realm of the Elderlings will like Wars of Light and Shadow. I will not say that because it's untrue. But it is the same level of quality. Both of them are on a different level of brilliance. And Wars of Light and Shadow is absolutely immaculate. It is one of the best series ever written. It is one of the best... all these novels, especially Peril's Gate, Stormed Fortress, and Song of the Mysteries, are some of the best novels ever written in the history of man, and I die on that hill. This is a story worth experiencing. It is not a story that you can just kind of walk through. I started it on a whim. You do not continue it on a whim. You decide it must be continued. It requires you to continue it. It requires you to interact. It's such a brilliant series, and I will be talking about it more and more and more as the years go on. And God knows I'm going to reread it at some point, and that's going to be such a brilliant experience. If not, I'm going to read at least one book. I'm going to reread one book of this a year. That is beyond all shadow of a doubt. I must. Anyways, that's about all I have to say for Song of the Mysteries. This is my new favorite novel. It probably is, let's be honest. It's so brilliant. I need to finish this book. I honestly, I don't even really want to be recording right now. I just want to read Song of the Mysteries. But I will delay it for the sake of talking about the things I love. So, what have I received in the mail this week? I need to talk about those. So, I've already told you about Sacred Hunt, which is the duology all in one paperback. I really like this. I got City of Night, which is the sequel to Hidden City. And I got A Drowned Kingdom and The Last of the Atlanteans by P.L. Stewart. Now, the reason why this actually took so long to... Well, the reason I actually got these was because Broken Binding had a free shipping sale for us subscribers. And, yeah, you think I'm going to pass up on that? Are you fucking kidding me? No, I took the opportunity. I'd already been very interested in Drowned Kingdom. I thought it was fantastic to hear all the great things about it from Jake. And I think he also said that one of his main inspirations was Swords of Light and Shadow, and you know what? All right. I'm going to trust in his skill, because I've heard everybody else say he's great. And also, I just love these covers, so even if I don't like it, I get a pretty nice beauty mark over here. Anyways, that's about all I've got for that. And then, of course, Gold King and City. Now, for what I will be reading next. Second Stone will be my next read after Song of the Mysteries. I want a nice old break, and I say break, but this is going to be intensive on my soul. I'm not getting like a soul break. I'm getting a have fun! You're suffering a little bit more! But I am very excited to continue Triumphant Revelations. I'm trying to read one book a month, maybe with the exception of December and January and February. Then I'll be caught up so that I can read The Real Lord in, I think it's April next year. I am very, very, very excited to read this book. It's also shorter than the last one, I believe. It's 100 pages shorter, which is really, it'll be a very quick-ish read for me. Because these books just fly by. They are such great, it's like, boom. This is a page turner. You can knock it out in a couple sittings. It's just that good. And I'm very excited to continue Triumphant Revelations, as I have said. I don't got much to say there. Now, for the book that I'm going to read after that, it's split. It's split, and I'll explain a little bit more. So, between Speaking Bones and the Dragonbone Chair, I don't know which one I want to read next. Now, if I'm taking the logical position, I read Speaking Bones. I read Speaking Bones, and I say, I'm going to finish the series. Which, you know what? I should probably do that. I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, I should probably do that. Part of me doesn't want to. Part of me just doesn't feel like reading Speaking Bones. But I'm sure that if I read Speaking Bones, I'll enjoy it. At the very least. At the very least, I will enjoy Speaking Bones. But if I read Dragonbone Chair, I have confidence I'm going to love this book. But I don't know, I'm split. I think I honestly, like, right before I was recording, I said I'm going to read Dragonbone Chair. And then, right now, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm going to read Speaking Bones. So, we'll see. Here's a bit of a mystery for you. Guess what you think I'm going to read in the comments. Just take a gander, figure it out. What you think I'm going to read next. Speaking Bones or Dragonbone Chair. And then, I will be going to is that? Yeah, Well, I'll probably be on here one more time before, is it? Yeah, one more time. Before the Shadows Upon Time release gala. And I will be there. I'm very excited for that. And, oh man, I'm going to get Shadows Upon Time. I'm going to get to read Shadows Upon Time. I'm going to get to read it a day or two earlier than you. Ha! Eat shit. Sorry. I gotta gloat. Oh man, I'm actually so excited. It is going to be such a brilliant experience. I'm so very excited. Hello everyone, and this is the part where I tell you that my my brilliance led me to play around with the cable that connects my microphone to my computer, and that's how you hear me. So I just so happened to disconnect my microphone, and so you cannot hear anything else that I am saying. So I am going to cut it here and pretty much say thank you for watching. Please tell me, what have you thought of the books that I have been reading? What have you guys been reading? I miss Max Garfield's wonderful, wonderful, long, comments. They're absolutely, I miss them. But anyways, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you all next time.